20-something, only 4 million people voted. 20-something million boycotted the election. Are we a terrorist? The answer is no. Are we the one who killed people in Lagos for election? Not us. It was the Nigeria state, the terrorist state of Nigeria, that committed act of terrorism during the election. And that is what we try to prevent our people from becoming a victim. And many who did not listen to us fall victim of this election, the past election. Those who were killed, did anybody remember them? The answer is no. Those who were butchered in Lagos, did anybody remember them? The answer is no. Did anybody compensate their family? No, the answer is no. Did anybody, those who lost their businesses in Lagos, that their businesses were burned to ashes, did anybody compensate them? The answer, till today, the answer is no. Now I ask you, who are the terrorists? But these people deceived Onyendu for many years. If not because of the glory of God, or Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Biafra would have lost trust in him. Because there is nothing in this world like when a man says something and doesn't stand on by it. There has been many times they declared boycott election. At the dying minute, they will call it because he was under pressure by the same people who was fighting Biafra with him. He never knew then that these people were all fake until the last minute when he said, I need 100 men. I cannot see any men here. He asked, which people am I going to go to war with? People don't understand. Those genuine people today may not understand what was going on. He was shouting for 100 men. Where there are millions of people, IPOB scattered all over the world, this man was shouting for 100 men. He couldn't find any 100 men among them. Today, I promised him that when he is coming out, he will have millions of Biafrans who are genuine. And he is coming out with the Biafra flag. Believe me, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released in a very historic manner. And what they want us to do is to stop Biafra struggle and begin to fight for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in place of the Biafra struggle. Because we understand this very well. We defeated that plan. Many of them today is being used. That's why you can see some people who call themselves Jewish or whatever, they will gather in their number, they will write script and give them, say, oh, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not here. Just go and say, don't support a referendum because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So they want you to make, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu the fight that you have to be fighting. And today, we are killing the bird. We are killing many birds with one stone. Do you understand the point? As they hold him, we have proven to them that holding him will never stop Biafra. We also prove to them that holding him will become the most expensive thing. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has become the most expensive commodity under the Nigeria state. The more they hold him, the more expensive it becomes. The more they detain him, the more we will make Nigeria feel the pain of the crime of international kidnapping. The more they hold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in dungeon, the more Nigeria economy will go down. We will crash it, believe me. Because it is not just about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It is about thousands of Biafrans who are now being detained, and many of them are dying on a daily basis. This has happened for many years. I want you to understand what Nigeria is. For those who were supporting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, only to turn back because he was kidnapped from Kenya. Abiola was killed by Nigeria. Because of the interest of other Nigerians, he was killed. Today, he is in the history. This idiot from Yoruba land, under Yoruba, who called himself the son of Fela. His father was killed. Today, he is part of the history of Nigeria. His grandmother was killed. They are now part of the history of Nigeria. The worst is that the prominent men in Yoruba land many of them have been murdered by Nigeria state. But whenever they have one small opportunity, they forget them. Even to the point that a son of a victim, the guy who's supposed to be the most angered person in Nigeria today, whose father was murdered by injection, is now calling those fighting what his father did cowards. I want people to understand that Nigeria have seen, in fact, they have not seen what is coming. God will use me to end Nigeria. Mark my word. God will use me to end Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
For the interest of millions of people. The atrocity of Nigeria, the prayers of many people and those that were killed by hunger, those children, their cry got to God. And God used many years to mold this time on Ekpa. I told them from the beginning, you see, I have come to end the journey of this Biafra struggle. This year, after Biafra declaration on the 2nd of December, we will know who is going to run away from the south, south, and southeast. I have no other update to give you, but I have come to assure those criminals and terrorists in Nigeria state that God will use me to end Nigeria. And the end of Nigeria have begun. When Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was preaching, he said Somali will be better than Nigeria. Are you not seeing it? The good news is that at the end, freedom will come. And the West continue to make mistake of allowing us in Africa to carry gun before they're listening to us. The mistake were done in Sudan, in Ethiopia, in Eritrea, in many places. Something that we can resolve amicably. Ordinary asking for freedom is a problem. The people will kill you for asking for your freedom. And if you don't defend yourself, your history will be gone, will be wiped away from the surface of the earth. Mm-hmm. And today, we will not be wiped away by Nigeria because we have come to end it. Our forefathers paid the heaviest price of being in Nigeria, and we are not going to leave that particular price for our children unborn to pay. We will end it in this generation. So from the 2nd of December, the music will change. Nigerians don't know what is coming. We will show them that the people you killed in the 60s, we have never forgotten them. The scars is very fresh. The humiliation on our children, they were dying, and they saw all those stomach being swelled up, and they were dying in thousands on daily basis, up to 3 million. Nigeria is evil and must end. The only way to end it is when they come with AK-47, you bring your own AK-47. When they come with bomb, you bring your own bomb. Mm-hmm. It is fire for fire, gun for gun, until the world will listen to us. Mm-hmm. And that listening to us, they have ignored us for many years. Mm-hmm. This year will be the day, the year that the Biafra and our own cry will ring a bell to the highest level. Thank you, Biafrans in UK.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, my lord. Ndewo.
Let me promise one thing. You know, any place I go, I always promise. And I want to fulfill that promise whenever. So the promise I'm making to the United Kingdom today, Biafrans in the United Kingdom, is that when I was in the US a few weeks ago, last week, I promised them that the satellite radio and all that will be, and the TV will be on air. And today we have the satellite TV, we have the satellite radio. And what I promise and what I'm still promising here is that we will start. Now we have tested the radio and it is working in Ebonyi State. We are going to start from the coastal Biafra to the hinterland. We already have some transmitters in the hinterland. So Akwa Ibom State, the former Akwa Ibom State, in the next 2 weeks, will have Voice of Biafra Satellite Radio all over Akwa Ibom. That's my promise. In the next 2 weeks, we are going to have them in Akwa Ibom, and from there, spread to Iguacha, spread to Bayelsa, spread to all the coastal delta before we come to the hinterland. That is the promise I'm making to you. But it starts in the next 2 weeks from today. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you, sir.
Obatobie. Mazi Boniface, please, Ben Chuck's hand has been up for a long time. Do attend to him, please.
Yeah, we have, there is time for donations, but we are following the program. Mazi Benchus, don't worry, you will usher your own submission. But we have a presentation. Okay, we have a presentation we want to present. Yeah. Please, after the presentation, you can go ahead. Please, sir. There. My wonderful family, UK family, I recognize everybody here. Those in the cabinet, PM's cabinet, we recognize all of you. You are all supportive in UK. Everything that will make UK to be moving forward, you are always gather around to see that it is being done and on time. I recognize all of you present here. So please, I may not go one by one to recognize all of you, but I recognize your presence in this meeting. When the time comes, we shall be omitted for you to take your own submission. But we have a presentation now. We are following our program. We have a presentation we want to present. We have a teenager here in UK, very intelligent. The other day, he made a presentation in one of the Igbo unions. So we said no, well, he must come here and do this presentation, another presentation concerning the Biafran War and its importance today. I'm calling on Ben Obodefuna. Ben, if you are here, you can raise your hand. A very brilliant, is a very guru, Bitcoin in guru. Is very good in a guru in Bitcoin. Even in this our USDT, he is very good. He teaches people around him how to transact, how to trade with the USDT. So he's a very good guy and a teenager, very brilliant. Yeah, from mother. So Ben, my minister, you can see Ben so that he can be
on your
unmuted.
camera and unmute yourself.
Hello. Greetings, Prime Minister, and greetings, fellow Biafran.
Ben, can you on your camera, please?
Since I'm under 18, I'd prefer to keep my camera off for privacy reasons, if that's okay.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, Afambo Nze Chinedu over there for now. And today I'll be presenting 5 interesting facts about the Biafran War. So I'd like to share my screen, so if somebody could give me post permission, so I could.
Okay.
Give him a co-host, please.
COS, please grant him co-host. COS, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. What's his name,
right,
please?
Ben's iPad. Ben's iPad.
Okay. Ben's iPad. Okay, great. All right, done.
Ben, you can go ahead.
Okay. So. See my screen?
Ben, before you continue, please, I hope none of your content has any gory images, right?
Yeah, there's no gory images.
All right, right on.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Very well. Very well.
Okay. So the Biafran War. Quick overview. The Biafran War, also known as the Nigerian Civil War, took place between 1967 and 1970 due to ethnic and political divisions between Nigeria's Igbo-dominated southeast and the Hausa Fulani-led north. Colonel Odemegwu Ojukwu led Biafra to declare independence in 1967, which led to a military intervention by the Nigerian government, headed by General Yakubu Gowon. The conflict included intense battles, human rights violations, and a severe humanitarian crisis, with an estimated 1 to 3 million deaths from famine and disease. Despite initial successes by Biafra, the Nigerian military, backed by international support from countries like Britain and the Soviet Union, eventually were victorious. The war concluded in 1970 with Biafra's capitulation and its reintegration into Nigeria, significantly shaping the nation's political and ethnic dynamics of today. So, an introduction. One of the unique things about Biafra in the history of warfare is that not only was Biafra fighting a war, but simultaneously, Biafra was also building a nation state, which includes fully functioning institutions such as the Central Bank of Biafra, University of Biafra, ministries, and law courts. For example, people were still going to court for petty cases and receiving punishments, or getting married in a church as a normal society would whilst fighting the war. This is what makes Biafra unique, and things like this are what should be celebrated in history. So, number one, the post-war £20 policy. So at the end of the war, a Nigerian panel concluded that every Igbo person who had an account in any Nigerian bank before the Civil War was to receive £20. At the beginning of the Civil War, Igbo people took their money out of Nigerian banks and changed it to the Biafran currency. After the war, the Nigerian government took control of bank accounts belonging to Biafrans. A Nigerian committee decided to give each Igbo person a new bank account with just £20 in it. This meant that there were multi-millionaires who were stripped of all their money and forced to rebuild off of a mere £20. Despite this, though, the eastern region still grew to become bigger than most of the other regions in Nigeria today, despite the harsh conditions they were forced to build their economy back up from. But what many people don't know is what happened to the money that was stripped from the Biafrans. In 1972, 2 years after the war concluded, the Nigerian government released the indigenization decree, which mandated all foreign, especially British companies, to be either fully or partly owned by Nigerians. A decree that the Igbos did not benefit from, and it's believed that the money used to finance the purchase of these private interests was on the other side of that £20. Number two, Biafra's crude oil refineries. During the Biafran War, faced with an economic blockade limiting the access to petroleum products, the Biafrans ingeniously established makeshift crude oil refineries. Leveraging local expertise and traditional refining methods for palm oil, they improvised equipment using available materials like old barrel and pipes. This community-driven effort, coupled with training initiatives, enabled them to produce sufficient refined petroleum products to sustain their economy and military operations throughout the conflict. This technology the Biafrans created is still being used by the likes of the Russians today. Number three, the hijacking of planes. During the Biafran War, Biafran militants hijacked 4 planes, including 2 Nigerian Airways planes and 2 BOAC, which is the British Overseas Airways Corporation planes, on July 10th, 1968, diverting them to the Ulai airstrip in Biafra. This dramatic act was an attempt to draw international attention to the plight of the Biafran people and the humanitarian crisis caused by the Nigerian government's blockade and military offense. While the passengers and the crew were released unharmed, the hijacking was widely condemned by the international community, including the Nigerian and British governments, as an act of terrorism and a violation of international law. Despite the international attention generated, the hijacking did not significantly alter the course of the Biafran War or lead to a resolution of the conflict. Now, number 4, the minting of the Biafran currency. During the Nigerian Civil War, Biafra declared independence and issued its own currency, the Biafran pound. On the 29th of January 1968, Biafra began minting its own £1 and £5 shilling notes in Portugal. These notes were made from paper and not too durable. Then, in February 1968, a second revolution.
All right, as I go through that matter, I come to see as they happen say, let's say na Enugu state government say they want partner with me 80 Allah for farmer safety to boost food sufficiency. O say tila. Odinga no kanga manu gare kporo onye iri ya were ame onye nche. Meanwhile, let's go down for the full detail of the information. The Agro Ranger Squad and other security outfits would be all out to protect farmers and farmland in the state. The Commissioner for Agriculture and Agro-Industrialization, Patrick Uburu, disclosed in an interview with News Agency of Nigeria on Monday in Enugu. The Commissioner said that the government collaborated with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to establish an Agro Ranger Squad. Uburu said that the Agro Ranger Squad, meant to complement other security outfits on the ground, would be all out to protect farmers and farmlands in the state. This squad, with a specialized training on agricultural protection and other technological gadgets, will checkmate all forms of security compliance complained about by our farmers, both commercial and smallholder farmers in the state. The squad are stationed in major farms in the state as well as special agro-processing centers and facilities, he said. The commissioner said that the ministry was also discussing with the Mieti Allah group so that they would also join in ensuring security for all. He said, we are meeting with them to ensure that they help in putting their members in check. They would help us to identify those headers who are not their members that penetrate and instigate acts that cause misunderstanding among headers farmers. My people, I don't see how that one they go. But for me, these headers, I don't think knows these farmers don't know the particular herdsmen that are doing this thing, because had it been they known, they could have reported it to police, or maybe they could reported it to any force official that will be able to fish out these people. Because if you tell me that the headers who are committing all those heinous crimes around that Enugu state are known by these farmers and they have not been prosecuted, then I will say, okay, oh Nigeria, is this where you are now? It don't share. I see the be for Obodo. For the information where they enter for my table now, be say the men of the Biafra Liberation Army don katawos with the men of the Energy Them Boys, and I hear say na woto and I ain't the men of the Biafra Liberation Army, na ain't they drop for them boys. Even though now the boys said that what they are not in for trouble. And they have also, released some information online that the people that the Energy Them Boys are saying that they caught are not them. And me, I'm wondering, the people that Energy Them Boys are catching, who are these particular people that Energy Them Boys are catching? You don't show. I see the for other information. They say Anambra State Women Association Lagos launching of 200 million for permanent site held in Lagos. I don't know whether these people want to build this permanent site in Lagos considering a lot of things that have happened so far. There are a lot of things that have taken place. There are a lot of things that happened, especially in Lagos State, and most of these people, most of these things have also affected Ndi Igbo. It has affected Ndi Igbo very well. Things like estate demolition, things like shop demolition, things like business demolition, and the rest of them. And these Anambra women, they say they are Anambra State Women Association, Lagos. Say they are launching to build a permanent site of 200 million. This will even tell you that the kind of ladies that are here, they are not small cartel ladies. But I wonder why this permanent site should be built in another state and not in Anambra State. Because it's not like at ethnicity talk, but looking at what has happened so far in Lagos State, I think there should be a good a place to invest this money. A woman in Lagos State, a businesswoman, has cried out over the demolition of her property, with a property which was demolished in Lagos State with a short notice. Let's go down to the full detail of the information. A businesswoman identified simply as at Lashikin on Instagram has been traumatized after a demolition notice was issued by the Lagos State on the building her family purchased in Eti-Osa local government area of the state. The fair-skinned lady who based on her Instagram profile indicated that she was into the skincare business was seen shedding tears uncontrollably over the development in the viral video she posted on her page late Sunday. In the video, the businesswoman was heard lamenting that her family purchased the property in February 2024, added that all their hard work was expended on its purchase. She said, "We bought our property in February and we have only been there for 2 months. All the hard work, all the sleepless nights, everything. If you are in Lagos, you know how much property in Eti-Osa is cost. Each time my son sees me crying, he always asks me why I'm crying. Mommy, you've been crying. How do I explain to my son? How? What do I tell my children? I'm trying to be a strong woman, but this is very painful and I don't wish anybody pain like that. I don't wish anybody to work so hard, so tirelessly and face something like this. I don't. Even I don't see as it happen. This one, another woman where they cry out from that Lagos State, we purchased building from Eti-Osa. But because of the current demolition that is going on, the government have demolished that particular area. And the question is, all these estate developers, where they develop, what is it called? Where they develop estate without getting proper information. Sometimes these people tell you that all the informations are correct, and when you make your investment, at the next time you lose it. I think that the estate developers in this case should be caught and let there be a compensation because they did not plan properly, before giving out their estate for building construction. O setiela na ndebe anyị ekene m unu asị m onye agwara anya gwakwa ibie maka na ndebe anyị si na ife agba n'aka anya bụ ife ejiri enyo as e dey be Governor Oti don say that Lokpanta cattle market must be free from criminals smelly abattoirs. Oti na Oti don go to Lokpanta cattle market and then don talk say that place must be criminal free. And of course, you know that Oti is one of the governors because Oti is an Ekweme. His name is Toknadu. Anything where Oti they do, we talk, in they do in no the wait. Everything where Oti don't they talk for that instead, in don't do each and every one of them, and don't do each and every one of them. I'm being honest with you because a lot of things have happened in Abia State since OT resumed office. As it be, they say that Ebonyi Labour Seals EEDC and NERC offices. Now, Ebonyi Labour, now then they sue that one because they say prices of light tariff has gone so high and people are very, very angry. Why should tariff be very high like that? It's because of the bad government wey be say we dey inside. Now then they cost some of my people. But meanwhile, now here I go to wind down the curtain. And if this is your first time of joining us, kindly go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you. God bless you. Why Mazen Nnamdi Kanu secession bid? Why even in the DSS detention he has refused to back down on his statement of freedom that he wants the people of Igbos, the Biafrans, to be free from the government of the NIG. Many people would be wanting to know, okay, what is actually happening? Now, can you by yourself give me analysis of today's NIG, where it looks as if everything has failed? The government, the economy, the system, every single thing looks as it has failed. The education system, the political system, the civil system, whereby corruption has become the order of the day. And a lot of people are asking questions, when are these things going to be over? And since 1999, or since the inception of the independence of the country called NIG, there has not been a proper hope, because immediately after the independence, people hoped that they were going to see better things than when the white man was here. And what they saw was opposite of what they anticipated, opposite of what they expected to happen. And when that happened, people lost hope. That was the first time people lost hope in the nation called NIG. And as time goes on, the military coup and the rest of them, people thinking that somehow the nation could be fixed. And when you look deep down into the motive of why people do the things they do in Nigeria, you will find that it is just for personal benefit and personal aggrandizement. Let's go down to the letter that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu wrote to the U.S. official concerning his unlawful extradition from Kenya to Nigeria. For officially and publicly acknowledging the unlawfulness of his extradition from Kenya to Nigeria in 2021, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, at the weekend expressed in writing his profound appreciation to the government of the United States of America, including its mission in Nigeria. Kanu's legal team leader, Aloy Ejimako, who confirmed this to The Guardian yesterday, said that the team acted on Kanu's behalf by making public his statement of appreciation titled, "Thank you, America, for officially and publicly acknowledging the unlawfulness of Nnamdi Kanu's rendition," stating that the U.S. acknowledgement was a demonstration of diplomatic courage. Ejimako, who said that his team's attention was drawn to an official publication by the U.S. government a few days ago, which was captioned 2023 Country Report on Human Rights Practices, Nigeria. He further said that the U.S. government publication acknowledged that Nigeria's secret police had violated Kanu's rights during his arrest and extradition, and that Kanu was a victim of arbitrary arrest in June 2021. The legal team said it needs to be emphasized that this laudable position, which the U.S. was waited for almost 3 years to take and make public, is surely well considered and thus important for two reasons. First, it affirms the case commander-in-chief, we have adduced since June 2021 that Kanu was unlawfully rendition, not lawfully extradited. And these are two opposite concepts that bear dissimilar legal implications. The second reason was that it is expected that coming from a respected and influential foreign power like the US, this public acknowledgement will likely encourage the government of Nigeria to also acknowledge that it had gravely violated Kanu's inalienable human rights by subjecting him to a horrendous extradition. To be sure, one way the government of Nigeria can come clean and acknowledge this egregious wrongdone to Kanu is to banish any further temptations to impunity and summon its powers and directions under the Constitution to bring his prosecution to a close without further ado. Ejimako and his team noted that this is the most sensible thing to do, considering that Kanu's prosecution has, by effluxion of time, become attritional and questionable to boot, given that it was initiated almost a decade ago in 2015 and for alleged offenses that are no longer in play. He added that there are other cogent reasons, including the open and notorious fact that it is becoming increasingly clear that the IPOB leader may never get a fair trial by dint of the grave complications created by his detention at the Department of State Service facility. My people now don't see as it happen. That's one way they hear. No matter what we say, you consign Ahmadike one of Ndibo. That the U.S. government have condemned Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's unlawful extradition from Kenya. They have come openly to say that what the NIG government did to him was a breach of his fundamental human right. Of course, every citizen has his fundamental human right, and also part of this human right we are talking about, or the United Nations Constitution on Human Rights, were also signed by Nigeria. So they themselves are party to this particular constitution, and that is to say that they are supposed to play along. But meanwhile, there are a lot of charges that have been leveled against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, of which, if they follow it through the process, but of course, you know that these people are government, they are in power, they have, even when you have written to, what is it called, the US government, and the US government made their comment, Nigeria is still an issue, if I should use the word autonomous, but the right word to use is supreme state, who also makes their own decision. But I think if it is a country where the rule of law is in action, there wouldn't be a lot of complaints, because some of these things you are seeing will be tried by the rule of law. But here you find out that those who are in governance play hanky-panky with the rule of law. These laws and constitutions were made by them, and they are also the ones who are furthering this constitution and law. And of course, you know that sometimes if you look at what is called a change of constitution or constitution amendment, a layman might not be able to understand that what the present government is actually doing is to find a way to alter the constitution wherever it can favor them. And that is what we have seen in the ECOWAS, that is what we have seen in Africa, that is what we are seeing in the West Coast, that is what we are seeing in what is happening in this particular country, because those who made the law are the ones who also further that particular law that they have made by themselves. But our own, we say, Ozemezina. Meanwhile, we'll be waiting to see what is going to become the outcome of that particular case. Will be say it concern the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, as it be resetting the barometer of development in Southeast. This one is coming from Iwanyam, the president of Ohanes Ndigbo. He said that part of his vision is to reset the barometer of development in the southeastern part of Nigeria. And my issue is that how is he going to be able to achieve that? Because the issue of Ohanes Ndigbo is not like the issue of government. Meanwhile, before we go to that one, Archbishop condemns Kano's continued detention as group fought Nyako on Supreme Court verdict. And Archbishop of the church, and I dey talk this one, say wetin Nyako dey do, say that one no follow. Now the Anglican Bishop of the Niger Province and Bishop of Oka, Right Reverend Alexander Ibezin, has called on President Bola Tinubu to release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, for peace to reign, asserting that the agitators' continued incarceration is a national embarrassment. Ibezin, who made this call during the 13th Synod of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, themed Running the Christian Race, Implication for the Church in Perilous Times, observed that Eastern Nigeria has suffered a lot. According to him, for Nigeria to be peaceful, the Igbo must be given a chance in the national leadership of the country. He noted that justice delayed is justice denied. He said the truth remains that injustice set back a nation, and once an ideology about injustice is imbibed into a people, no amount of force can quell it unless justice is done. The Archbishop said that the church should continually embark on a race guided by the rules, genuineness, goal orientation, endurance, discipline, and preservation to win, and perseverance to win. Wondering if the current generation is not living in the perilous times prophesied by Daniel. In his remark, the Bishop of Oji River, Joseph Egbono, contended that Nigeria appears upside down as the current situation calls for surgery at the foundational level to structurally revive the country or opt for something else. Meanwhile, a group under the aegis of American military veterans of Igbo descent has faulted the presiding judge of the Abuja Federal High Court, Justice Binta Nyako, who is hearing Kano's case, for allegedly not obeying the Supreme Court's judgment describing Kano as a prisoner of conscience. The group, in a letter to the judge dated May 1, 2024, stated the judge's refusal to comply with the Supreme Court judgment and the lack of willingness to interpret the Constitution fairly are truly embarrassing and humiliating for the judicial system, Nigeria, and the whole world. Amid AMVIE's letter, which was jointly signed by Dr. Sylvester Onya and Dr. Godson Obiago, President and Secretary of the group, respectively, was made available to journalists at the weekend. It called for Kano's release, noting that the IPOB leader should have been taken to a correctional center and not kept in federal government private-owned detention center where his conversation with his lawyer and family members are always monitored. My people, now don't see as they happen for that particular matter. We are still on that matter where we say you concern Hamadika 1, Ofundi Igbo, Odogwana Fanya. Meanwhile, now here I got to wind down the curtain, and if this is your first time of joining us on this wonderful channel, kindly go ahead and subscribe, like, share, comment, and also remember to on your notification button so that whenever our news drop, you'll be the first we'll collect them. Thank you for listening. God bless you.